You said at one stage that the Beatles were a curse as far as you were concerned. What you're saying is the same thing right now.
It's a lot to deal with. And that's the thing, the Beatles sort of did haunt a lot of us for years, and still do.
When you became famous, did you like that?
I did at first. It was fun. Yeah. Because, you know, who wants to, you know, just be slogging around with no proper job and, you know, no cash and, you know, nobody really wants to do that. And for me, it was really, all I wanted to do was just be in a band. I didn't really want to go to work. The mania side of it happened, it started happening in, I think, 1963, when we started touring seriously in England, like on the big Moss Empire circuit. And then we did some tours around Europe, and I think it was because of the mania that was happening then that the Americans caught on and came over, and they did features on us in Time and Life and Newsweek. So then that sort of set us up for the trip to the USA in 1964. When we became the famous Fabs, it was really all over. Sort of that aspect of just being a group playing and what we're going to do, and where we didn't have to care, where we could drink and just, you know, just be up there being a rock band in our leather suits. And later we had to be, you know, we became popular and all this, and then we happened to get famous. And it was fun for a little while, you know, to have people paying attention to you. Yeah, I think fame is a good thing in terms of giving you heightened experience, or at least more experience, and but then it's what you do with that, or what that uncovers. I think for me, you know, as I say, I realize I want to, you know, I just want more. This isn't it, you know. Fame is not the goal. Money, you know, although money's nice to have, it can buy you a bit of freedom. You know, you can go to the Bahamas when you want.
You described those years as four sane people in the midst of madness. Were you?
That's true.
Were you ever frightened by it? Was it ever frightening, or?
It was terrifying at times. I mean, we were all pretty naive. Unfortunately, it was at a time before, you know, before all the hijackings and that sort of terrorism and stuff that's gone on now. But we used to be, the four of us, just with two roadies, you know, two road managers, one with the equipment, one with the suits. And that was it. I mean, nowadays people go on the road with yeah. Security, truckloads of equipment and all this sort of stuff.
But was there ever a point where you felt that the success was just seemed to almost be getting out of control, where it was difficult to deal with?
Yeah, that was that period. I mean, it was then when it got out of control that was, I suppose, contributed to us going into sort of semi-retirement, because it just became too difficult. And one of the things was, it's the whole Beatlemania in the 60s. I think, even though at first we all got off on it, I think the world, or the pop or music world, got off on it. It got to the point where the Beatles, you know, the Beatles became like an excuse for everybody to freak out.
In that respect, the Beatles were fortunate that there was four people, because I think for somebody like Elton, you know, who's on his own, it's more difficult. You go crazy. With the four of us, we either went crazy together, you know, which made it easier, or we stopped ourselves going crazy because we had each other's company. But at the height of it all was the thing where I got involved with India anyway, and for me it was the meditation. Meditation was the key to releasing all the anxieties and frustrations.
And why do you think that it drove you to search for something deeper, as opposed to someone like Elvis, who had a hard time handling it?
Actually, Elvis, I think, looked for something deeper too.
Yeah,
because I know that he was, you know, at different times he was involved with different organizations, and I mean, it was sad about Elvis. I think compared to the Beatles, Elvis, I always saw the problem for him was that he was the only one who had that experience. Whereas, like, we were hippies, you know, so it takes more people to have that, share the experience. I mean, the four of us all experienced the thing, and in a way we gained strength and supported each other in the turmoil. But hurricanes, we're flying into hurricanes in the aeroplane, and you know, it was just like, I couldn't do it now. If that was happening to me now, I'd just die of a heart attack. But in those days we were young and we could stand up to the strain, but it got so much that it was no joke. It became such a nightmare. It became like a prison. And on top of that, the thing that really made it the worst was when we finally got to the place we were going, and the reason we were doing it was to play the music, and you couldn't even hear the music. We couldn't even hear it ourselves because of all these people yelling. You know, that side of it, of playing like as a musician, lost the edge there because we just play the same tunes that we play recorded. We'd go around the world singing the same 10 songs, and every year we'd lose one and add a new one. And it got a bit boring being fab. I'm still not that keen on that side of it. It's nice to be popular, it's nice to be loved, but it's not so nice to be chased around and on the front page of the paper every day of your life with, you know, people climbing over the wall all day long.
Well, what would you choose if you could have any say in it?
I absolutely wouldn't be famous.
Would you not?
I think I've fulfilled that desire. See, there's another thing, we all have desires. And to liberate yourself too, you have to fulfill the desire or get rid of the desire. Somewhere down the line, I presume, I had the desire to be famous, but never again.
And I think that I really overdosed on the fame of the Beatles, you know. I mean, that was enough for me, you know, actually. Yeah. It was a good experience to have, but at the same time, you know, it's not the be-all and end-all of life to be somebody famous. And, you know, I prefer some quiet, simple things.
My style's different. I enjoy, you know, going home and being with the family, and just, you know, we went through such madness in the 60s with the Beatles that I overdosed on all that, you know. So although the Beatles, you know, maybe was a mirror for a lot of people, you know, you can't go on living in the past, but, you know, we're all thankful for the happiness they brought.
Everybody must have their own space, you know, and a little bit of peace, and you've all got to have somewhere where you can go and breathe out and not be faced, you know, with all the clutter in life. And so, you know, for me, it's like that. I have a house with a garden around it, and I appreciate it if people don't bother me when I'm in there, because, you know, there's enough to deal with.
Because you have appeared publicly so little, people have talked about you as being a recluse these days. Is that fair?
It's silly. The only... excuse me. I don't go to places where Bam Baz Big Boy goes, or where Nigel Denster goes, or I just don't go to those discos and things like that. They make out as if I never leave the house. I go out the house all the time. I just try and live a life of a normal human being. If I have a hit record, they're all knocking on the door again, phoning me up, you know, so I don't particularly want to be that side. I've had that concentrated in the 60s and early 70s. I've done that, and it's boring, you know. And I like to live sort of quiet life, so therefore they think I'm this Howard Hughes with fingernails down to my toes. But it's quite a good image. I don't mind it now.
It does not say you.